Welcome to Story Punk. I am Scott.
And I am Drew.
And we are here to talk about Ready or Not 2. Here I come.
I thought it was Ready or Not 2: Here I come.
Well, that's if you have too much brand.
That's the brand cut. The brown cut.
It's when you have too much Mucilix.
I'm sorry, I'm not old enough to know what that is.
Oh, sure you're not. Anyway, this is the sequel to the movie we discussed last week. I mean, we did watch it also, but
yes, I felt like, do we really have to watch it? Because it's just a sequel, and Scott insisted. He said, I think it's better for the show and the audience to be able to talk about the movie and actually have seen it. And I said, fine, whatever. And I'm glad I did. It was good. It was fun.
Well, see, I never get used to someone combusting all over me, which is a great line in the movie.
Well, one of the things about a sequel is, how much do they do the same movie, and how much do they amp it up? Yeah. And the thing that's really sold me on the original was that the ending just nailed it. Uh-huh. And this ending wasn't quite as much because it wasn't the first time I'd seen this idea, but I didn't hate the movie or anything. I thought the movie was fine, but the ending, improved it by a star or so. Sure. Because it committed, and I like that these movies commit to their ickiness.
So basically, this sequel, it takes place pretty much right after the last movie. And
no,
literally, not pretty much. No,
pretty much. So what I did is I watched Ready or Not. Uh-huh. And then I wanted to sit down and watch the sequel, and Kelly really liked Ready or Not, so I said, let's watch Ready or Not 2 together. She said, sure. So I said, let's just rewatch the end of Ready or Not, because I said I don't know much about the story, but I understand it picks right up. So we started watching it from we watched the last scene where everybody blows up, and then the house is on fire. She walks out of the house. She sits down on the steps, and the EMS and fire people start to arrive, and then our power went out. So I said, well, that's annoying. So we brought everything, it came right back on. We brought everything back up. I put the disc back to it. We watched that scene again when she's on the steps, and then to the end of the movie, and she says in-laws, it's a great last line. And then we started the movie, and the first scene of the movie is everything that I just watched twice. That was kind of like, I guess I was really too ready. But I liked that it did that. I liked that it didn't need a time jump. Samara Weaving doesn't look, hasn't been 35 years and we're pretending she's still a young bride or whatever. Yeah. And so I thought that was fun because it followed what I would call the Halloween 2 model. Like it's literally picks up right from where the last one ended, but it also starts in a hospital too. So, it really went with that.
So basically after she survives the deadly game from the first movie, Grace and now her sister Faith must outrun 4 rival families competing for a powerful throne where winner takes all. So basically, I guess control the world. It seems like that's the impression that they're trying to give us.
Well, it's not an impression. I mean, it's kind of funny because this is our second movie with David Cronenberg in a short role at the beginning as someone who's clearly in charge of many evil things. Obviously, this was not as compelling as his incredible performance in Jason X, but he's a guy who's clearly dying, and he's watching the news, and there's something about a war, and he picks up the phone and he goes, all right, do the ceasefire. And then the news immediately changes to, a ceasefire has just been declared. I was like, oh, I get it. Okay. Yeah. It's not subtle storytelling.
No. So we have Samara Weaving is back again as Grace, and then we have Kathryn Newton as Faith. Mm-hmm. We have the delightful Elijah Wood as the lawyer.
He is so much fun in this movie and in general.
And we have the faculty reunion with him and Sean Hattasy as Titus Danforth.
Oh, that's right.
And
Sean Hattasy, I'm so locked into him as, in a good way, as the guy from The Pit now. Yeah. But he's really a lot of fun.
And his Sarah Michelle Gellar plays his twin sister, Ursula Danforth.
Thank you for pronouncing it correctly. A lot of people, I think, they pick the Howard Stern pronunciation where he keeps calling her Sarah Michelle Gellar. I'm like, is she married to Freddie Prinze Jr.? Like, come on, man.
And then, as you were saying, we do have our David Cronenberg as Chester Danforth. He is the father, and basically their family seems to be in the seat of power at this point of all these families. What has happened is that because of the events of the first movie, and that the Domas family has perished. This has triggered some type of whatever in the power structure, and now anyone that kills the bride, Grace, will now have be able to take control.
Are you saying it's like another game?
It's a game, sort of. Except you're not picking cards. There's no choice in this one.
There's no we're going to play checkers for ruling the world.
Yeah, and actually, one of my an actor that I'm a big fan of. We have Nestor Carbonell, who's in this. He is his I think is Ignacio, as I believe is his name.
His accent is so distracting.
It's funny because he is Spanish.
Yeah, I know, but he doesn't.
He really plays it.
Can you imagine if he talked? He was the mayor in Dark Knight, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he spoke like that?
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with people having a foreign accent and speaking English, but it's so cartoonish. It's like wasn't it Chris Pratt did like I'm a Mario kind of thing for the Super Mario Brothers movie or something? No, but like they had to change it because it was just too much.
Yeah, I mean, and also he was in Lost, which is where I first saw him, and he does not have an accent in that. But it's funny because it's not like this is some guy who's not familiar with the Spanish accent. He is Spanish, so you would think that he would know an authentic. But I mean, maybe it's because of the whole nature of the movie. He wanted to ham it up a little bit, but it is very. Especially when what does he say? He goes, it's very exciting for me. He goes, not for you, it'd be terrifying for you.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like I could do that Spanish accent. So
well, I'm looking at his, I guess, you know what his first big role was? Was Suddenly Susan. Do you remember that Brooke Shields sitcom?
Yeah. Isn't that where she works? Did she work like in a magazine or something?
Every sitcom in the 90s, if it wasn't Family, it was a magazine. I don't know why. Like Just Shoot Me and all that kind of stuff.
So this movie is basically it's you have like a bigger power structure here is what we're looking at, and it's the I guess it's the self-perpetuating nature of inherited power in this case, because it's you had like the powerful Domas family. I keep trying to remember the exact pronunciation of their name. And
would you feel more comfortable if you just committed to the French and you called them the Les Domas?
Les Domas? No. And now you have this situation where it's not only Grace, but they've brought her sister, who was her emergency contact that she never changed. So I don't know where they got the emergency contact from. I was a little unclear on that part, but whatever. It's a movie.
That's true. It is a good insight.
Yeah, I'm just like I'm willing to suspend my disbelief on that part. With the exploding bodies, I can just overlook.
Again, very generous.
Also, this is a. This is one I thought this is an interesting take that someone had on this, and you could look at it as the thematically this could be seen as a way that women survive in systems designed to destroy them, and see if they can trust each other enough to dismantle those systems, because a lot of times we see not just with women but with any groups where the people in power will always try to turn those groups against each other, and I think this is so there's something to be said for that with because there's a lot of having to work together, even though there is some type of
you're talking about the sisters?
The sisters, yes.
That's interesting because there are, of course, other female characters that are bound together more by the fact that they're wealthy and competing for power than the fact that they're women.
Yeah. So, no, I mean,
but I mean, like that's the transcendent thing.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter that they're women. They're all horrible garbage people.
Yeah. And so you have, but then you have these two sisters that their bond, even though it's a bit tense in the beginning.
A bit tense, yes.
Well, yeah, you could say that.
It's a little tense. Yeah, it's a little bit.
So they are but they're basically trying to make their way. They're trying to survive, really, and
trying to make their way in the world today.
You could see it as a metaphor for the world.
There you
just
go.
In general, so I mean, this is in a way it is social satire, but it is kind of there is a point to be made. I also think that it also there's a theme here too about sort of like the secondary theme of does especially for Grace, does surviving trauma make you stronger or simply more dangerous?
And the answer is often yes.
Yes. To both.
Well, see, that's what's funny because I think I mentioned this a week ago, so long ago when I mentioned this, that I found it, and there's a good chance this kind of thing wouldn't work in a movie in general, wouldn't work for me. I found it completely credible that Samara Weaving turned out to be like, I can handle myself. Like, it wasn't like a no big deal to her to fight for her life or to kill people, but she could step up and she could figure it out. And this movie explains more of her background and leaving home young and all this kind of stuff. And that's the big tension with her and her sister is her sister's like, we were the closest, we were together, we survived together, and then you left me. And that's fine. As I was watching it, I found myself thinking I didn't need to know that in the first movie. So I hope it doesn't become a big deal in this movie. And of course, they kind of built their opposition to each other, or really Kathryn Newton's rejection of her sister around that, which I didn't think was as interesting, but it didn't drag anything down for me or whatever. Also, Kathryn Newton, I'm a big fan of her work. I like her in general, but she's in one movie that I think more people should see. It's really fun, and that's the movie Freaky, where she switches bodies with Vince Vaughn. Have you seen that movie?
No, I have not.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun because she becomes Vince Vaughn, who is a completely psychotic serial killer, and Vince Vaughn becomes a teenage girl, and they both sell it, and it's really fun. So Kathryn Newton, that's by the guy that did the Happy Death Day movies, which are fantastically entertaining Groundhog Day horror movies. Really way better than I expected. I had a lot of fun with them. But Kathryn Newton and Samara Weaving, I don't mean to say that I think they're bad together or that they have no chemistry. I don't think they're super exciting together, but so many of the characters around them are so cartoonish that I felt I believed them as siblings, because the only other character really in the movie that's kind of chill is the best character in the movie, which is Elijah Wood's lawyer. He's just so much fun, because the people in it that like you're like Sean Hattie, man, he's not just feeling inadequate, emasculated by his father and his sister. He's a monster. Yeah, like the scene when he's beating the shit out of Kathryn Newton is rough.
Yeah, it is.
Like, it's really rough.
I was like, okay, like, we get it.
Yeah, exactly. It was. That's like,
you can stop now.
Yeah. I don't think you like her very much.
Yeah.
You should marry her, but I don't think you like her.
But I mean, I don't know. I did like the thing, and this is what I was saying last week about this. I mean, I did kind of like that they built it out a little bit more. I mean, obviously, like you said, it's not like a surprise like where they went with it. But I don't know. I guess I felt like I wanted to see a little bit more. I wanted to understand a little bit more about the world. Of course, as you start to reveal more about the world, then you start to have more questions. And I did like how they established very early on, there are very strict rules around this whole, I guess, game, when you want to call it, because they have, so she's still in the hospital when one of the families that we don't really see other than the Kevin Durant part, he's one of the families that is up for, possibly taking control. He shows up at the hospital before the official start. And then you find out, you can't just go and start before. There's a whole process here. There are rules.
That actually answered a question for me. I wasn't sure how it was going to work in the movie, which is, we know there's something supernatural going on. We learned that in the first movie. But I wasn't sure. And, and I guess I don't remember at that point, because that is early in the movie. I don't remember at that point if Elijah Wood has really laid out enough of the rules yet for it to explain it. And that's not a criticism. I just don't remember. And I was like, well, how are they going to do this game, this ritual where they have to get these girls put them in this, essentially think of it as an arena, and which is this estate, and then release the competitors, so it's quote unquote fair to see who's going to take over the table, blah blah blah. And when Kevin Durant goes after them and he's about to kill her and then he explodes, like at the end of the first movie, I was like, oh, okay. So we're all on board. We all believe it. Everybody knows that the shit is real. Yeah. Because there were people in the family at the end of Ready or Not who were like, man, I knew this was bullshit. I knew it wasn't real. And the only one who really believed that it was real, really believed it. They were all in, but the only one who really believed it was the great aunt, which is why she tries to kill Samara Weaving after the sun is up, and she's the first one that goes. Yeah. But in this movie, everybody's like, no, this is it. Like, we will blow up if we don't do this, which is what I think that serves the ending, because there's a desperation of the villains at the end of the movie that it's like, oh, you guys know what happens, like at the end of the first movie. Yeah, so and it also, that was fine. And
then we also see that there are, there are consequences also for not following the rules, which, I mean, we saw, of course, at the end of the first movie, but in this one, there's no leeway either, right? Too. So it's so he's trying to do it before everything starts, and they're like, nope, you can't do it that way. You got to do it the way that is, Elijah Wood, which I'll give them credit for the way that they shot this, and just Elijah Wood for just his presence and his charisma, that he does a lot of exposition, a lot of heavy lifting as far as helping us understand what the rules are and what's going on in this world. And I never really felt I was never okay, come on. I never felt
that's true.
And there are a lot of times I do feel that way in movies, even movies that I've liked. I'm like, okay, I get it. I never really felt that way while that was going on, when he's explaining everything about you have the different families and how everything was working, and then I will tell you though, one of the things that I thought when Kevin Durant, when he explodes, they cut to, from that scene, they cut to the wedding at that estate, because that's the Danforths own that.
The couple that rented it. Yeah.
I thought that was going to be part of the Wilkinson family, and that they were going to explode. I was so waiting for them to explode in the middle of the wedding. That would have been funny. They were like, no, they're just getting them, evacuating the estate so they can do their.
Yeah, I liked Elijah Wood's character a lot in general, and that what you just said, that's a good description, because he does tell. In order to, it's funny because they all basically know the rules. We have to learn as the audience. Yeah, but the way they use him is seriously, guys. It needs to be clear that it's been explained to you, so that you don't, complain when you lose or when you cheat and you die, like Kevin Durant. You die bad. And I spoiler, I loved that he survived the movie. Yeah. I love that he picked up the rule book and walked out and kind of nodded like Mr. LaBelle nods at Samara Weaving at the end of the first one. Yeah. But I do admit I was hoping he would pick up the book, put it under his arm, pull out a ring, and put it on and disappear. But they didn't do that. Yeah. So I think, I don't know, he's the most fun. But I also like one of the ways that they use Kathryn Newton's character, which I wasn't really sure if it was going to work at first. She's obviously been estranged from her sister, and then she shows up and she's like, tell me what happened, and her sister's like, you will not believe me. And then she tells her, and she's like, yeah, you're going to jail. I don't believe you. And then this dude explodes on them, literally covers them in goo.
Busts.
Yeah. And so then she knows something about what my sister said is real, but it's also unbelievable. There's no part of the movie where she's like, oh, he must have had a drink and then the fluorescent light, she doesn't try to explain it. She's her mind is just completely blown and she doesn't understand what it is. And I thought that was good, because the one thing it reminded me of, where everybody knows the consequences. One of my favorite big studio movies, I'm really going to be breaking new ground here, in the past 25 years, is Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one. And one of the best parts about that movie for me was that everybody knows the ship is cursed and blah, blah, blah. But when they actually see they're in the moonlight and they turn into skeletons, people go, oh my God, I didn't know that was real. The next two movies, which have a lot of entertaining stuff in it, everybody knows supernatural stuff is real. Yeah, Davy Jones' locker is a real thing, and this guy's going to show up with a squid face, and which is still one of the best movie effects ever, and all this stuff. But everybody knows that it's supernatural. So in this movie, the audience knows that it's supernatural, and all these characters know that it's supernatural. And Kathryn Newton just saw that it was supernatural, and she isn't buying it. Not because she's a skeptical, but because it's literally unbelievable, which is what her sister's attitude was in the first movie. Sure. And I thought that was a nice continuation of the story, because I was concerned that I would just kind of feel like, well, there's no secrets left in this movie.
Yeah.
But there were secrets left for her character, and I felt, I guess, enough of a connection to her that worked for me, which I thought was a pleasant surprise, because I really didn't know what to expect. This really kind of felt like it might be it's not my least favorite kind of sequel. It's just kind of a boring sequel. Jurassic Park, here's another thing. Good movie. Yeah. But the sequel, The Lost World Jurassic Park, which is not as good, but has good stuff in it. The premise of that sequel is basically, you know how in the first movie you saw that whole thing where they make dinosaurs out of the eggs and there's scientists sciencing them and all this other stuff? That's just for show. There's a whole other island. You had this movie, and then outside of this story is this whole other thing, and that's what the next story is going to be about. And I was a little concerned that this would feel like that kind of expansion, because I didn't watch Ready or Not. When I watched Ready or Not, I was ready to watch it again in the theater. But if you'd said there's a sequel coming out next year, I would have been like, I don't need it, but that's cool. So 7 years later, I really didn't need it, but this delivered enough for me, again, especially because of the ending. And I thought they did a nice balance of the things that personally would bother me. And so I just want to say to Radio Silence, I appreciate you addressing my personal concern and doing so effectively, because I like the movie so much, and I like what these people did, and I liked Abigail, and I liked these other things. I wanted it to be entertaining. And so I'm glad that I enjoyed the sequel. And it's okay with me if I don't enjoy the sequel as much as the original, because that happens a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there is sort of like the engine or the mechanism or whatever you want to call it, the idea of, you know, they're hunting this person. I mean, that's the same, but I felt like it's, I mean, obviously whenever they make these sequels, it's always got to be bigger. The stakes got to be higher.
Sure.
And that's exactly what this was. I mean, now it went from, you know, just like contained to a single family to like, this is for the world. Of course, I don't know if they made a third. I don't know where they would go from here, because I feel like you've kind of hit the pinnacle. I don't know. Maybe who knows? They could do something else. But so I
just want to see more of that outfit of the Black Bride.
Well, I know that was pretty cool. I know everybody was like that. I
was like, oh, they've seen Thor Ragnarok. They got that vibe.
Well, I will tell you that here's a little interesting fact that isn't necessarily about the
Scott, I'll decide if it's interesting.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Oh, I'm just kidding. The audience will decide.
Yes, the audience will always decide. But so they were actually developing a story with Kathryn Newton and Samara Weaving as sisters before this. And when the studio said, we'd like you to make a sequel, they took the sister story and made it into...
Oh, you mean they were making a different movie with those two actresses?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that at all.
Okay. When they were working with Kathryn Newton on Abigail, they came up with the idea that like those two would work together well as sisters. And so they were actually developing a project where they were sisters. And then when they got the go-ahead to make the sequel, they were like, why don't we make the sequel with them as sisters? So I think they took elements of that story, the sister story. And
it's funny because Kathryn Newton is in Abigail, and she's good in Abigail. Yeah. It's not one of the bigger roles. Yeah. Kevin Durand has a bigger role. Yeah. And in this movie, he has a significantly smaller role. Yeah. And Kathryn Newton has a bigger role. Yeah. And I've enjoyed Kevin Durand for many years. Yeah, yeah. I mean, going back to like when Johnny Knoxville and The Rock are taking apart his pickup truck in Walking Tall, like he's just great. And he's Proxima Caesar in the last in the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Obviously, you can't see his face, but he's just like Kevin Durand is a big dude. I think he's from French Canada or something. He's from Montreal, and so he's a big dude and he talks funny. But he's a big presence, and so when he shows up in this movie, he's terrifying to these women. Yeah. And when he explodes, it's a lot of hamburger. Yeah. But in Abigail, there's more to his character, and he sells that too.
Yeah.
So he was actually, when he blew up, I thought that was appropriate for the story.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh,
I know.
I kind of wanted more, because some of the other characters that are hunting them they're not as interesting.
Sure.
So.
My first experience with him was in the TV show Lost.
Oh, right. Yeah, sure.
He was like part of this like mercenary group. He was actually really good.
He is good.
In Lost. And
the one thing Lost did not have any shortage of was pretty incredible casting and performances.
Nestor Carbonell is also in.
Yes. Well, I mean, there's tons of. I mean, people like I stopped watching that show because it was Lost, and I would see, oh, shit, Jeremy Davies is in it, and Elizabeth Mitchell is in it, and all these people would show up, and so that's cool. And there are definitely, it's not Law and Order where literally every actor that's ever worked in New York is in Law and Order.
Yeah,
but
or the like old school before that was Miami Vice. That was the one that everybody was. Yeah, there's like certain shows that's like everybody who goes on to be famous at one point in time.
Right. Well, like if you're from Australia and you weren't on Neighbours, I don't think they're allowed in Hollywood.
It's so funny whenever I see an Australian actor. If they don't say that they were on the show Neighbours, like I'm surprised.
Right.
Or like Chris Hemsworth was on Neighbours.
Everybody, yeah. Or like EastEnders in England. I came across that somebody was just randomly was in that as part of their history, and I just went and I looked it up because I've never seen an episode of Neighbours. I've never seen an episode. There've been 7,135 episodes of EastEnders. I was like, so I guess everybody is going to be in it.
Isn't it like didn't Hugh Jackman meet his wife while they were like both? I think they both were on Neighbours or something.
Probably.
Like that.
I mean, it's probably pretty incestuous at this point.
Yeah. So
they're really good neighbors.
Yeah, there you go. But this is I do like that aside from the that character. I do like how they evolved. So that was one of the things I was talking about in last week's episode about how Grace in the first movie, she does feel like kind of like a lucky survivor because the family is extremely incompetent, and so I do feel like in this they gave her she's a little more proactive. She is she's choosing to fight, and I think part of that too is the fact that you throw a sister into the mix, and even though that their relationship is not the greatest at that point, especially in the first part of the movie, really pretty much through almost the whole movie, they are she's moving into that protector role, so she's becoming more proactive in what she's doing, which I think was a good way to. I think it's another reason why I think I liked. Like I say, I liked it better. There was something, I don't know what it is. Something I liked it just a little bit better. It's not like I was like, this movie's, the second movie's far superior.
You liked it, but you liked it more.
I did like it more, but not much more.
Okay.
Because I've seen like on IMDb, I saw like a lot of people gave like just a slightly higher rating to the first one, and like I said, I try not to read any reviews, not to taint, but it's like you can't help. Sometimes you see like the little headlines, like blurbs from people, and just like a lot of the titles of people's reviews were like, good but not as good as the first one.
Yeah, I saw a lot of those headlines. Yeah.
And without really, since I intentionally didn't dig into those, I don't really know what the specific criticism was on that and why they said that. But I just felt like there was. I don't know. I just felt like there was more to it, and I kind of like I like that.
Well, so. I think this to a certain degree, and the degree that I think that what I'm about to say isn't bad or ruin anything for me. It is in some ways. It's the same movie. It's the same kind of premise of like you're in trouble. We're gonna hunt you. If we don't win the game and kill you, then we're in actual mortal trouble. All that kind of stuff, but bigger. Yeah. It's not like Terminator, which is basically a slasher movie, followed by Terminator 2, one of the biggest, greatest action movies to this day ever made. Like, it's not different enough. So maybe people really thought it followed what you just said, that sort of classic sequel, like it's bigger, it's more, but there's a safety in, man, people like this movie, let's make it again, but spend more money and make it bigger and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because you have a lot more stars in this movie.
And I think that's probably why people had that reaction to it, but it certainly didn't. I mean, I can't quote numbers of Rotten Tomato scores or things like that, but it's not like this was people went, oh, this is shitty, we waited this long for nothing kind of thing. But I think that's probably what it was, and I think it's interesting that you were like, this isn't just it's a little better. I liked it more. more. There's bigger world that I believe and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's a kind of a cool reaction. Now, also, you haven't sat with it for 7 years.
Yeah, that's true. And then now the other thing too is that, and that might very well be why a lot of people, they've had more time to kind of, think about it, kind of sit, like you said, sit with it for a period of time, and then watch this, and then they're having sort of like this instant reaction to this one. Now, what I will say, because it is bigger, and you're populating it with more villains, I don't feel like there was enough, like you said, the villains are that. This is probably my biggest problem with the movie is the villains are. They're not very deep. They're kind of silly. There's Nestor Carbon, like with the whole thing with like him trying to shoot at them and he keeps missing, and it's like, okay, it's kind of silly, but that whole thing's kind of silly, and there's a lot of like silly things. There's no, like, I don't feel like there was a lot of distinction. Honestly, I almost feel like the only real distinction was that they were different ethnicities. Really, to be honest, I feel like that's how they stood out.
That's not wrong.
We got these. They're from Spain. They're from India. They're from China. Whatever. Like that. That's how they really stood out. Like there was nothing. Whereas in the first movie, you felt like like Adam Brody. There was a very distinct.
The characters were more distinct.
Yeah,
as characters, I agree.
And I mean, even down to the guy, like what was it, Stevens, the one help butler guy, or whatever. Even he had his own personality.
The Ray Donovan, perhaps you could say.
Maybe, yeah, you're probably right. But he had his own distinct personality. So that was the one part that I would say that was my biggest criticism.
They were more cartoonish, and some people have called these movies, live action Looney Tunes kind of stuff, and I could see that. I mean, it's definitely elevated. You could make this movie and make it more realistic, and you would have if you did that, and it's a different approach. But if you did that and you had like this is actually more real. It's not supernatural. It's about rich people taking advantage of everybody else and real violence and real dehumanization. You'd have The Purge Anarchy.
Yeah,
which is actually a really entertaining, nasty movie, and that's not what this movie's trying to do. So I don't have I never have a problem with a movie that I like not being like another movie that I like, kind of thing. And I'm glad when movies are different, but I think
I've only seen.
I think it's
Purge.
broader.
I've only seen the two with Frank Grillo.
Well, that's the first one with Frank Grillo is Anarchy.
Okay,
and then the next one is Election Year.
Okay,
and those were Purge 2 and 3 because the first one was the Ethan Hawke one, which is not a great movie, not horrible, but not a great movie. Because I remember I saw that and I was like, this is a missed opportunity, which was the exact opposite of my reaction that I had to the first Ready or Not, which is like they killed it.
Yeah.
But the Purge 2,
no pun.
Purge 3 isn't as good as the second one, but it's entertaining. The Purge 2, I was like, oh, this is the movie they should have made. Then the Purge, the fourth Purge movie is actually a thing they could do for the sequel to this, because the fourth Purge movie is a prequel to when Marissa Tomei's character invents the Purge by basically getting a whole bunch of Nazis and Klansmen and racists to attack a community of black people having a block party on Staten Island or something. It's really intense and upsetting and nasty.
I don't know.
So they could do.
Have to pass on
they
that
could
one.
do a prequel about Mr. LaBelle.
Yeah,
and the first family and all that kind of. I don't know that that's that interesting.
I mean,
but that's
yeah,
what they
I know.
could do.
You'd really have to find a way to amp that up to make it interesting.
And then the fifth Purge movie is basically like, how there's stuff going on in politics with border stuff. There's a purge on the border, and it's not really that successful. But a lot of movies series will do that. Generations, Legends, kind of like Ginger Snaps. Great fun werewolf movie. Ginger Snaps 2, shockingly good sequel.
Yeah.
Ginger Snaps.
Oh, really? I've never seen.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah. It's really nasty. It's the first time I saw Tatiana Maslany in anything. It's because they basically take Bridget, who's the surviving sister.
Yeah.
And they put her in an institution because she's like, I had to kill my sister because she's a werewolf, and everybody's like, yeah, you're crazy. And then the third Ginger Snaps movie it brings them both back, and it's Ginger Snaps Back, which is a fun title, but it's back in it's like the log cabin colonial fortress era, and when the first werewolf, blah blah. Like, who cares? So if they want to do a Mr. LaBelle prequel, I will definitely watch it streaming or something. I'm not dying for it. But you know what? I wasn't dying for this sequel to exist, and I had a good time. So I'm not. There's nothing holy about this that if they make a third one and it's a prequel or something else, Scott, they're going to ruin it. It's not. There's no.
Oh my God, they've ruined my childhood.
Yeah, there's no Phantom
Menace.
They've
ruined my adulthood.
Yeah, there's no Phantom Menace problem here. But this movie also it gives you a real ending to essentially the entire cult that runs the world. Yeah. So I don't know where they would go next. The prequel thing is the most obvious thing, except again, like I don't. Are they going to make Avatar 4 when Pandora first developed as a planet, and like who gives a shit? So right.
I mean, I give a thumbs down for everybody that is out there in audio land, but. And I have to say, I did like the ending. I do have to say though, so this is one of the things where the whole story universe I'm not quite clear on. Spoiler, Grace kills Titus. They make a deal to save her sister at the end.
Titus is the one she's going to marry.
Grace says that they find out like in the middle of the movie that if she marries someone, there's a loophole. If she marries, then that calls the whole game off.
It's over. Yeah.
It's over, and then the person that she marries gets to take the seat of power. So when she marries him and they have this big like goofy satanic like wedding or whatever, she kills Sean Hattasy. She kills Titus, and then she goes, oh yeah, you can kill a family because there's also a thing too that Elijah Wood lays out that if you kill someone, then your whole family's wiped out. Right. That is so. So we actually there's a scene where I believe were they Chinese?
I think so. The Asian woman and her son, and the Asian woman who appears to be more inclined to be a person and help out these girls, but that could be a trap.
She accidentally kills Nestor Carbonell and
his accent,
and his because he was not killing that accent. But no, she accidentally kills him, right? And that so her family is wiped out.
Now, her like playing video games on his tablet, kid. Doesn't he basically like what?
No, he's eating. Remember, he's like,
that's right.
He's eating something, and he's like, and he's sitting there looking at it, and you can see like, and then that's when Elijah Wood like closes the book and hides behind the little podium, right? But anyway, so they said, but then later on, like closer, right before the actual wedding ceremony, another spoiler, Titus, the character, kills his sister because he doesn't want to be controlled by her, and he wants to have the power all to himself. He says you can kill a family member. Now, my question is, could Grace have killed Titus at any time? Because then she goes, you can kill a family member because now they're married. So they get married. So they've actually gone through the marriage, and then she takes the I guess the implement that they use for the blood to sign the contract. She uses that and she stabs him in the neck like repeatedly. Right, kills him.
You can kill your own family.
You can kill your own family
without popping.
But and it doesn't affect like your. But could she have killed? Really, could she have killed him at any time?
Well, yes, I think. I mean, she's the one being hunted, so she could kill all of them and win.
But I guess it's a situation where she had to find an opportunity, so maybe that's why she went through the whole thing. But it almost seemed like they built it up like, she went through with the ceremony, so she could take advantage of the loophole. That's the way I felt like they were trying to present it. But I'm like, but that doesn't seem like. Right.
Well, I think you're supposed to think at that point, maybe she's basically like, oh, fuck it. The opportunity to be queen of the evil, I'll just do it because they're
or
just
maybe
trying to kill me.
maybe she did it to maybe. Well, you know what though? If she doesn't do it, then she can't do what she ultimately does after she kills him. So I guess that's
she wants
basically
to
disbands the council.
Right. You might think in the audience, you might think, wait, she's just going to say, I'm fine. You want me? I'll just take over, and I'm more clever than you. But really, what she wants to do is what she does, which is I'm going to just destroy all of you.
Yeah.
Because the other thing is, it's clearly possible she could have concluded this will never be over.
Yeah, that's true.
You're going to kill me. You're going to kill my sister.
I guess that was the best way.
Now, I mean, again, we'll see if they make a sequel. Now it's over, except Elijah Wood, who appears to be the closest to the actual demons.
The devil's HR representative.
Right. The devil's lawyer.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, maybe that's repetitive, but redundant. But I think that's what her motivation ultimately turns out to be. It's kind of you're just going to have to leave my family alone. And if you're all going to just blow up in a pit of goat chunks, fine.
Yeah. That's a whole great scene. She basically throws the ring into the sacrificial pit, and because they say it doesn't even have to be. She says that she like renounces or takes herself off of the high seat or whatever the hell the actual term is, and that then they say Elijah Wood then lets everyone know that anybody who gets the ring now has the power. It doesn't even have to be one of the families. So she throws it into the sacrificial pit. But somebody has to put it on before dawn.
Right.
And everybody, all of the satanic followers all jump in.
Whoever those people are, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, you had to I did wonder if the guy who abdicated his head of the Indian guy who was, I didn't know if he was when he said, "Oh, I'm not. I gave up my rights as like the head of the family," and I was wondering if he was going to explode. And of course, he exploded.
Yeah.
So
you can't just walk away from.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's so. But
I would say if this was the high table from the John Wick movies, it would have been a lot more work to kill everyone to save your family.
Yeah.
And she just was like, she figured she's very clever. And she's a survivor, which we learned in the first movie. So she figured it out.
She was relying on their extreme incompetence and greed.
And greed, yeah. Which is hopefully the kind of thing that could make a difference in what's wrong with our leadership.
Yeah, really. Man,
that just makes me want to watch that movie, Civil War, again. Sorry, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
So this movie though, when it came out, I mean, it had a lot of stiff competition. This movie came out when Project Hail Mary. It came out like the same time as Project Hail Mary.
Never heard of it.
It was yeah, right.
I mean, I never heard of the movie.
So it was. I think it actually opened fourth that weekend.
Yeah, I remember it didn't. I remember thinking it didn't do well. I will see it. I thought I might see it in the theater. It didn't work out because I had to see Project Hail Mary again. But I remember feeling a little bad. I was like, it's probably worth watching because the first one is so much fun. But I suspect, like its predecessor, it will find some kind of an audience down the line. I don't know that it will be like the greatest streaming breakout budget recovery story of all time. But how much did this movie cost? If the first one was $6, was this one $50?
You know what? Actually, I didn't look that. I should have, because they had, they obviously had some more star power in this one than they did in the last one.
I mean, sort of. There are more people that you recognize, but I mean, who's the biggest movie star in the movie? Elijah Wood, you know what I mean?
Elijah Wood, but you also, I'm sure Sarah Michelle Gellar. I'm sure she.
Yes, Mr.
I'm sure
Stern.
she probably could fetch. And I'm sure.
Stop trying to make fetch happen. Scott.
Yeah, I'm sure Elijah. I'm not Elijah. I'm sorry. What's his face? Sean Hannity. He's having a moment, and I think they probably started shooting this movie, I'm guessing probably after season 1 of The Pit, probably. Maybe not. Maybe
I don't know when they shot it.
Maybe before. That's true. Now that I think about it, when it came out.
They finished shooting it June 2nd, 2025.
So that would have been right after the first season of The Pit.
I don't remember when that.
I think The Pit came, because The Pit aired January of 2025.
Okay.
So that would have been probably after.
That could be part of it.
So he may have been, he probably got a decent amount of money. So, but I mean, really, who do you think was getting a big paycheck out of the last one? Brody, probably.
Oh yeah, no, he was definitely one of the bigger names and wouldn't be this time. So it cost $14 million, which is pretty economical.
I'm surprised. Yeah.
And it made $42.9 million. So I think that tells you why these guys kept getting to make and will keep getting to make movies. Because Ready or Not is a hit movie at $60 million without being a gigantic movie, but also that's 10 times its budget.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. And then they made this movie for $14 million and it made $43 million. That's not bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know what Abigail was, but Abigail was similarly modestly budgeted and did okay.
I mean, movies like these also are they're not doing like the huge media blitzes like a
That's
Marvel
true
movie.
too.
So,
That's true too.
I imagine the advertising expense is not like, this isn't like one of those things where it's going to be showing up like, during every sporting event.
Right.
And any kind of major.
But also, I mean, it's not going to be a movie that they're going to spend that kind of money on for a year.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. They haven't shown anything yet, but they've been telling me Avengers Doomsday or whatever is coming for a while.
What about the Spider-Man movie?
Well, that one's been running full trailers for months now.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while. So
that mostly just makes me sad though.
What?
Because the whole ending of the last one where everybody forgets him is genuinely sad.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, does that mean the next movie I'm going to have to watch and nobody know who he is? That sounds really actually pretty dark. And I don't think they're in high school anymore.
I think it's, he's in college now. So, but I think it's him.
How? He doesn't have a high school transcript.
What?
He doesn't have a diploma. You'll tell me how it goes because I'm not seeing that in the theater, and I know you will.
Yeah. I think it's that. I think it's. Do they? I don't think it's that they don't know. I don't think that they. I don't know. I think he has a high school transcript.
I'm just looking. Abigail.
Yes.
$28 million budget.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What did that go to Giancarlo? But anyway.
I mean, it's been huge on Peacock and other things, so I don't know how much money something like that. But it made $43 million. So it made the same amount of money as this one, but it cost twice as much.
So here's an interesting question: is that the times that we find ourselves in right now, and the type of movie this is, and what it's basically trying to talk about, sort of like this. I guess they call this the eat the rich genre. As the type of thing that they're satirizing becomes more real, almost too real.
Yeah.
Does it make the satire, does it make it more powerful or more escapist? Does it make it like, is it almost a way too heavy on these types of movies? Like where it's just like, does it almost like, or is it like, or is it something like you can go and you're like, is it like sort of more of a cathartic experience watching this? Or is it like, do you think it brings it down? Do you think it makes the movie better? Like, what do you think?
I think the problem is, and even if it's not the same thing, like I'm not watching a movie and going, that's what's happening literally right now or whatever. What's happening right now in this country, just as an example, is so ridiculous and so unbelievable. Whether you think it's a great idea or not, we had a UFC fight on the lawn of the White House.
Don't forget about the dirt bikes before
the dirt bikes.
That's even worse.
The White House, which by the way, a third of it is just a pile of rubble anyway. Like that's so ridiculous that I don't think a movie has to worry about being too nutty. Like this movie goes its own way, so it's about the things. And if you, I mean, with the Epstein files and all this other stuff, if you tell me I have evidence that there are as a relatively small group of people who have all the resources, which is real, and they can do whatever the fuck they want, well, that's real. At least there's no child rape in this movie. Like it's a horror movie with supernatural stuff. And the thing about this movie, I think that's a good way that you're framing it, that makes it escapist, is that these people got all their power because they sold their soul to the devil, literally.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said it like Rob Lowe, but literally. But in the real world, they're just evil.
Yeah.
And, you know, like the Jeffrey Epstein didn't make a supernatural deal for wealth and access.
Yeah.
He's a terrible person who extorted money and made connections and did terrible things with other people who do terrible things because they're terrible people. That's it. So this movie is escapist because it does two things. It says there's evil that these people committed to, and then they got punished for it.
Yeah.
That's pretty escapist. That's like watching, you know, like cop shows for decades of television. It was like the bad guy gets caught and there's justice. Like that's escapist in a world where there really are criminals and there really are policemen and stuff. And that's before the more deliberate propaganda thing. That's more, to me, it's more literally escapist when you're talking about Dragnet always getting their man or whatever. You know, Bookham Dano and all that stuff.
Well, yeah, I feel like it's a, you know, it's to have that idea of, you know, that I think this is sometimes where people kind of get caught up in this idea of like karma, because I don't believe in karma, because the reason, and I think because a lot of what's going on right now, because if karma was real, there'd be a lot of people that would be facing a lot more consequences.
I don't anticipate a lot of people will be brought to any kind of justice based on their current conduct, and I think it would be wonderful, and I think it makes sense to hope for that, but there's no reason.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think there's a cosmic ledger that's.
Yeah, I know it's going to be like that. Well, they'll get theirs, and I'm like,
well, and if there was a cosmic ledger, who would be keeping it?
Yeah,
Elijah would on behalf of Mr. LaBelle.
Exactly. So
for Frodo.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't really have much more to add. I feel like we kind of talked about all the stuff last time about, like, you know, a lot of the, I mean, there's nothing that they really did much. Oh, you know what? I almost forgot. I have to talk about one standout moment that I loved. I loved the pepper spray fight scene.
Oh yeah,
where they're fighting. That was fun.
This movie is
fun. They're nowhere near each other, and they are swinging like violently because they both sprayed each other in the face with the pepper spray. That is Nestor Carbonell's daughter. After Nestor Carbonell dies.
This is a fight in the ballroom.
Yeah, they're in the ballroom because, and that's something. So Nestor Carbonell's daughter was previously engaged to Alex from the first movie, the groom from the first movie.
Oh, also, we talked about this happening, just to interject for a second. When you are a family, competing in this, one of you competes.
Yes.
And when you die, somebody else has to step up, which is generally your kid.
Yeah.
That's what it is in this, is your kid or your sibling. And so Nestor dies, so his daughter steps up. But as you're saying, his daughter is really the bloodthirsty one on a personal level. She also has one of the funniest moments of the movie, which is when she fires her rocket launcher for revenge, and she's holding it backwards.
I love that scene too, where she was like, back for round 2 and just shoots her, like doesn't even hesitate. And that's when we know that's when Grace's character is like, she's in full on.
Oh yeah,
mode.
she's done.
She is not putting up with any more shit.
It's very satisfying when somebody's ready to attack the hero, and the hero's like, I'm done anyway. I mean, the biggest example of that, obviously.
Oh, I did.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, okay.
The swordsman. Like, I'm just too tired for this shit. Leave me alone.
When I do love, and I love the fact that Grace shoots that character. The name escapes me at the moment. She shoots her, and I love the thumbs up on the continuity. When at the end of the movie, Grace and Faith are leaving they're going through the main doors, and the body of the she still is standing. Yep. She's just laying there on the ground, all bloody, and they just leave.
Well, I mean, the staff that cleans up that stuff has already fled. I was just thinking about that yesterday. I was having a conversation. I can't remember what would cause the conversation, but it was like, what would really be the most exciting thing personally about being wealthy like this? And for me, it isn't running the world or any of that kind of stuff. It's somebody to do my laundry, somebody to do my cleaning, somebody to, like, that's what staff is for. And if you're lucky, it'll be like Downton Abbey, where everybody basically gets along and thinks that it's a privilege. But I mean, the level of evil in this movie, like that's what power is, which we know, talking about escapist or not, is more realistic.
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want. And now it's like the people that you're my equal. You are in the same club. You're on the same council. Our families are the 5 families or whatever. I gladly gladly compete with you, and even take the chance of killing you, even though that means my whole family will be destroyed, because that's their claw for absolute power. When the only guy who has all this power and doesn't seem that stressed by it is Elijah Wood.
Well, yeah, I feel like there's a like you said that with these I totally lost it. I forgot what I was going to say. But yeah, this is a I know. Okay, I got it now. What I was going to say is that the lengths that people will go to, because we saw it in the first movie, the lengths that people will go to protect their privilege.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it's very,
and
it's very obvious. I mean, literally will kill, destroy. It means, and anybody that's in the way is not even human. They're just an obstacle, to get to.
Which is that scene in the first one when she runs into one of the kids, like a child, and she's like, Georgie, and then he just shoots her in the hand, blows a hole in her hand.
He was all excited too. He was like, he tells his mom, he's like, oh yeah,
I got her. But I mean, like, she punches him in the face, which I'm not generally a supporter of violence against children in entertainment, but when they're bad, when they just shot you and you were so excited to see them, I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. So
what is it, Step Brothers, where they fight a whole playground of obnoxious children? That's satisfying. They don't kill them; they're not dicks.
Well, they were bullies, the kids,
right?
So
they got theirs.
Yes, there's some karma, movie karma. Anyway,
movie karma, right?
We'll take whatever we can.
I'll take what we can get. Indeed.
Yes. Did you have anything else to bring up?
No, I thought this was fun, and I thought the first one was fun, and it felt. It's got more at the end. It's got more of what was at the end. It felt less gory to me, but it feels also more violent.
Well, except at the very end when everybody starts.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the end has more of that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like there wasn't a moment that when she gets that whole shot in her hand in the first movie and she falls in a pit of gore and sacrificial victims and dead humans, and then she climbs up and she's going to fall down, and then she puts her hand on the nail that goes through the nail, but then that's the only way she has enough traction to get out because she's literally pulling on her own wound. I don't think there's anything like that in this one. Like, that's really
Nestor Carbonell does get the sword through the throat. That was pretty.
Yeah, I mean, it's not lighthearted violence.
I know. Well, and what the
it's
first,
not the Three Stooges.
And then there's the guy that gets stuck in the industrial.
That one's pretty creative.
Yeah. It's an industrial like washing machine. So, and he gets basically gets melted.
He gets boiled and melted. Yeah, he looks like RoboCop.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little toxic waste.
You gotcha. Yeah.
I always want to call him Dr. Romano from ER, but he wasn't Dr. Romano. He was Emil in RoboCop. And Emil was a dick who deserved to get melted.
Yeah, well, so did Dr. Romano.
So did Dr. Romano got his arm chopped off. Spoiler. But it's funny because the guy who gets in the washing machine, we don't really know his character.
Yeah.
He's one of the two Indian guys. Beard. He does have a magnificent beard, which, as you know, hair in the Indian movies is very totally impressive. And but he gets his, because the two protagonists, these women they're innocent. What are you doing?
Yeah,
they're not trying to be involved in all this stuff. So you want to die in a washing machine? You deserve it. And it's big enough to contain you.
Yes.
Again, because you should have staff down there doing your laundry.
Yes. So they I'm sure. Did somebody make a pun during that? I can't remember. For some reason, I keep thinking there was some kind of pun joke during that scene. But
if it had been made in the 80s, they definitely would have.
Well, of course they would have.
He'll come out in the wash.
Yeah. Or maybe I was just thinking it in my head because I'm a child of the 80s. And I was like, is there going to be a pun joke here? But so if you don't have anything else to add, then I'll say that's a wrap on Ready or Not 2. Here I come.
Could you do me a favor?
Sure.
Could you tell our audience if we have any kind of presence on the internet?
Yes, I will do that.
Thank you.
But I was going to say before that, I was
please.
going to let you know that we'll be continuing Psycho Summer with our next two movies up. I'll be They Will Kill You with Zazie Beetz.
I like her very much.
Yeah,
although I will say I haven't seen it yet. It looks like the same movie.
Maybe.
So I'm kind of curious because it doesn't mean it's the same movie. But
it's a I think it's a cult in a hotel. So
something I do like a good bottle movie.
And then so Vincent Must Die, which is something I saw randomly advertised. It's a French movie It's about a guy who wakes up one day and everybody wants to kill him.
Is his name Vincent?
His name is Vincent.
I fucking knew it.
So, and that'll be interesting. So, anyway, hey, if you want to,
and we'll be doing that whole episode in French, right? When we talk about Vincent doit mourir.
So, hey, you can check us out on your favorite podcast platform or at www.storypunk.com. You can check us out on Instagram at storypunkpod or look us up on Facebook for updates. And you can also check us out on Letterboxd. I am Storypunk Scott, and Drew is on Letterboxd as well.
Solid Gould.
Yes. And with that, hopefully I will not combust anytime soon because I'm not trying to kill anybody. So I got that going for me.
That's true.
And,
but if you do do that, then I mean, there's no karma.
Okay, well that's true. I didn't do anything wrong.
If you go Weaving's niece is there, you are maybe in trouble.
Maybe,
but just honestly, just leave her alone.
I will try to steer clear of her. And with that, I will say, remember, story matters.